The Wisconsin men's hockey team will host a Big Ten tournament quarterfinal game Wednesday night at the Kohl Center after wrapping up the regular season last weekend with a sweep on the road against Penn State. In the series opener on Thursday, the Badgers and Nittany Lions were tied at 3 after 2 periods of play. And then Wisconsin exploded for 4 goals. Simon Tassi got the game winner. Daniel Hauser made 28 saves, and the Badgers prevailed 7-3. And then in the finale on Friday, Wisconsin jumped out to a 4-0 lead, and when Oliver Tulk scored in the third period, his second goal of the game, the Badgers finished off a 5-2 win as Hauser stopped 28 shots against one of the highest scoring teams in the country. Now the Badgers begin postseason play. Big Ten tournament quarterfinal game against Ohio State Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, and head coach Mike Hastings will join us here in just a moment. Meanwhile, the Wisconsin women's hockey team getting ready for the NCAA tournament after falling short at the WCHA final face-off in St. Paul. The Badgers won the semifinal game against Minnesota State and had a 1-0 lead late in the final against Ohio State, but the Buckeyes scored twice in about 3 minutes and beat the Badgers 2-1 despite 38 saves from Ava McNaughton. So now Wisconsin will host a quarterfinal game Saturday at LaBahn Arena against the winner of Thursday's game between Franklin Pierce and Quinnipiac. And head coach Mark Johnson is standing by. He'll preview this NCAA tournament coming up. I'm Brian Posick, and this is the Badger Hockey Digest.
The Badger Hockey Digest, presented by UW Health.
Have you heard people say women's sports are having a moment?
It's not a moment.
Moments are fleeting. They come and they go.
This isn't just a moment.
But success is nothing new at Wisconsin.
History in Wisconsin.
There's a history here.
Age championship.
So let's celebrate women's sports for what it really is.
It's not a moment.
It's not a moment.
It's a movement.
And you're invited to come along for the ride.
UW Health, proud title sponsor of Badger Women's Sports.
It's the simplest expression. The smallest thing that changes everything. A smile. So easy. A smile lights it up. Apologizes. Unwelcomes unconditionally. Because the shortest distance between two people is a smile.
Thank you.
Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle.
Well, Mike, the regular season's all wrapped up, and you wrapped it up in style last weekend at Penn State, winning 7-3 and 5-2. 2 very solid games for your club on the road against a really good team.
Yeah, it was a good weekend, and we needed a good weekend going into playoffs. And I liked the way we started, even though we didn't score the first one. We found a way to get back after it. And then I thought our answer on Friday was really good because anytime you're playing somebody, human nature gets into it. Whoever wins in that first game is feeling pretty good, and the team that didn't isn't. And so I just we had some really good goaltending performance. I thought Daniel did a great job, especially on Friday when Penn State came out and put their foot to the floor a little bit. He kept them off the board and gave us an opportunity to get a lead. Yeah,
Daniel Hauser stopped 51 of 56 shots against one of the highest scoring teams in the country. And then Wisconsin able to pot 12 goals on the weekend. You had 9 different goal scorers, 17 or 18 different point getters on the weekend, 2 balanced scoring, scored in a lot of different ways too.
Yeah, you know what, I thought it was probably our most complete weekend as far as possessing a puck and getting back to what I think makes us best, and then utilizing our depth. I thought our depth was what got us through Thursday night's game. We had different guys at different times, maybe that hadn't seen the score sheet a ton lately, and Oliver Tulk. Monty ends up getting a goal on the weekend. Botterill played well. Deering. We had a lot of, you go through it, and you're talking a lot of different names that aren't usually on the score sheet. And then you look at Friday's game. I thought our top unit of Morrissey, Finley, and Fitzgerald were outstanding from the beginning of the game to the end. And so we needed them all, and we're going to need that going into the playoffs.
Yeah, Gavin Morrissey had a couple of goals, 3 points, 60% in the face-off circles. He was named the Big Ten's number 2 star. So the regular season's over. How would you characterize it?
Some peaks and valleys, and then ending on a peak. We got off to a really good start. Going into the season, you and I had talked, we were wondering what was going to happen with our goaltending, and Daniel Hauser was outstanding. Eli Pulver goes into Michigan State and wins 2 games. We get a little bit dinged up. We lose Schulze and Hentz out for the season. Morrissey, Zelenoff go out. We go through a struggle for 3 weeks and really needed to look in the mirror and find ourselves a little bit and ask other guys that we've already mentioned to step up. And right now we're as healthy as we can be and looking forward to the playoffs.
Yeah, Badgers have won 6 of 8 since their 6-game losing streak, and the playoffs begin Wednesday night. Big Ten tournament quarterfinal game here at the Kohl Center against Ohio State. You wanted home ice, and you got it. You earned it.
Yeah, you know what? We talk about that every single season. When you start at the beginning of the year, you want to have the opportunity to play at the most important time in your own building, sleep in your own bed, do the things that you need to do to be best prepared. And we were able to do that by getting 2 wins this weekend, and now we've got to make that count.
Yeah, it's a new format, too, in the Big Ten. It used to be a best-of-3 first-round series. Now it's single elimination. I can't ask you what you think of it yet because you haven't gone through it yet, but I'm interested to see how this all pans out.
Yeah, it is. It's something new. With us being a 7-team league, we're still trying to figure out the best way to set our teams that have had the most success during the regular season up for success, not only in the Big Ten tournament, but the NCAA tournament. And so we made a little tweak to this, and we'll see how it ends up.
All right, and you've got Ohio State for the 3rd straight season in the first round. Unfortunately, the Buckeyes have prevailed the first 2 times. This is obviously different with a single-game elimination. You basically split the regular season series with the Buckeyes. What should fans expect from this Ohio State team coming in on Wednesday?
Well, they'll come in confident because of the 2 season-ending pieces for us as far as in playoffs. So they're going to be confident. In our league, from top to bottom, you look at Notre Dame going in and winning 2 games in overtime, going into Michigan State and playing the way that they played. So there's no easy outs in our league, and that's the way it should be. You want to be playing against the best teams in the country. I think our conference is the best conference in the country, and so we're going to have to be good to move on, and that's the plan. We want to be as good as we can be here at home in front of friends, family, and Badger fans.
And so hopefully a lot of them, too.
Yeah,
hopefully a lot of them.
It'd be nice to get the place hopping. Let's go back to that weekend again against Michigan. We went on Friday night and there was 12 plus, almost 13. And then the next night we don't get it done, but it was sold out. This is a special place when it's full. So we need everybody to come out and get to the Kohl Center on Wednesday and give us some help.
Yep, UWBadgers.com to get your tickets for Wednesday's Big Ten quarterfinal game against Ohio State. Best of luck in the postseason. Have fun with it. That's head coach Mike Hastings. Again, the face-off on Wednesday, 7 o'clock. You can watch the game on Big Ten Plus, also available on the Badgers Sports Network and the Varsity Network app. The Wisconsin women getting ready for the NCAA tournament. Head coach Mark Johnson joins us next on the Badger Hockey Digest.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota.
Awesome.
I like it. I love it.
Get 2.99% APR plus $1,000 when you finance a new Tundra through Toyota Financial. Or lease a new Tacoma for $329 a month.
Go from dreaming it to driving it today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Clear your path to a great career today. Climb to reach your career potential with no loans and no debt, so you can earn while you learn. A Wisconsin Operating Engineer's Apprenticeship is your opportunity to work outdoors and get heavy equipment experience. Partner with your employer for serious pay, great health and pension benefits. Acquire real-world experience while building Wisconsin together. To start your career journey, visit join139.com today.
Well, the Wisconsin women's hockey team getting ready for the national tournament. NCAA starts Thursday at LaBahn Arena as Quinnipiac takes on Franklin Pierce. The winner will face the Wisconsin Badgers Saturday at 1 o'clock, joined by head coach Mark Johnson. Congratulations back in the NCAA tournament for a 13th straight year, 32 wins from the regular season through the WCHA. It's been fun so far. It's really going to get fun now, isn't it?
Yeah, things get ramped up. I mean, you're down to 11 teams and, in 3 games, some teams 4. we're going to have a national championship, and so it's going to be fun to prep, to get organized, and I always enjoy the opportunity to play one more game in front of our fans, because they can be helpful. A lot of energy in the building. I know when we played Bemidji in our first round, there was a lot of energy and a lot of excitement within our crowd, and the players feed off that. So it's a great time of year.
Yeah, you played in the WCHA final face-off last weekend, beat Minnesota State, then ran into Ohio State, a familiar foe, and fall 2-1. It always seems like they're one-goal games. Unfortunately, in the championship game, after taking a 1-0 lead in the third, you'd usually feel pretty good about that, but you know how good Ohio State is, and they just kept pecking away, right?
Yeah, they kept pressing, and we weren't able to get them on their heels enough that last 6 or 7 minutes to really get a flow and a rhythm to what we needed to do. And give them credit, they capitalized, and they willed themselves to get that first goal. The young Swede, the freshman Swede that they had, made a great tip in, and not much your goaltender can do in that situation. I always felt that it was going to go to overtime at that point, but then, as we find out in the game of hockey, pucks bounce funny, and puck bounces off one of our defensemen and ends up in the back of the net, and we couldn't do anything after that. So and they probably, if you step back and look at the game and you said, well, who played better, you'd probably say, well, Ohio State probably played a little better than us, so which is okay. I mean, because it's something you can gain experience by, and if you happen to win a couple more games and you face them in the championship game, hopefully you'll learn from the previous one that'll help you in the next one.
And motivational probably too, right?
Yeah.
Where the young ladies are in the locker room thinking, well, we let one get away maybe, right?
Yeah, we've been number one for a long time. We won a bunch of games. We've beaten them before, and you start feeling good about yourself. And yet, the other team, they're hungry, and they might be willing to give a little more than you do in that setting. And so sometimes a little humble pie is well deserved, and an opportunity to, for us to get another game under our belt. And I'm anxious to see how we respond from what we did up in St. Thomas against Ohio State, and see what we are like when we come out Saturday for Saturday afternoon's game.
Yeah, goalie Ava McNaughton, a career-high 38 saves against the Buckeyes. I tell you, if she plays like that, you might just win 3 more games.
And that was one of the things you take away from the game, because she was away from us for a month, hadn't played much games, got the 2 games in against Bemidji, got some good looks from Mankato in our semifinal game, but she needed a game like that where that'll get her back in tune to where she needs to be. And if she's capable of playing like that in our next game, that gives us a real good opportunity to be successful. And goaltending's a funny position if they get their mindset, and we've had other goaltenders before, Soupy Campbell, we had Jesse Vetter, Jesse McConnell now, that decided that, well, no, nobody's going to score on us, and if you get 3 games like that, you're hoisting the national championship trophy. So it's a big part of what we do in hockey, the goaltending position. And it was nice to see Ava come out, accept the challenge, knowing she's going against one of the top teams in the country, and she played really well.
All right, so Thursday it's Quinnipiac and Franklin Pierce. Quinnipiac won the ECAC. Franklin Pierce, a relatively new program, won the New England Women's Hockey Conference. Don't know much about them. What can you tell us about those two clubs?
Well, both teams have a chance. With those 2 teams, they have to play the extra game Thursday, and so they're 4 games away from the national championship, and that creates excitement. Quinnipiac had an outstanding year again in a real tough conference, the ECAC, with a lot of teams that were really close at the top near the end, and they were able to get to the top and win their conference. So very, very good team, very well coached. And Franklin Pierce, the same thing. Their whole program for the last couple of years in that league is new to Division I, but great opportunity. They're talking the NCAA tournament. You mentioned earlier when we talked that their goaltender has a .955.
Jill Hurdle, yes.
If you have a goaltender that can do that, and I've been involved in games, you've called games that if that goaltender on the other team is kicking and you happen to sneak one in here or one there, you can very easily beat people. And so it should be a good game Thursday, and obviously we'll be sitting back watching it and get an opportunity to see who we play after that night, and then get ourselves prepped ready for Saturday afternoon. So it's an exciting time of the year. I mean, great games are going to be good. They're going to be exciting. And I know our fans will be excited to watch this one more time.
Yeah, and the Frozen Fours in State College, Pennsylvania. Penn State is the 3rd overall seed. Wisconsin's number 2. Minnesota's 4 and will play Northeastern in the quarterfinals on Saturday. And Ohio State is the number 1 seed. You like the way the bracket laid out. Yeah, you'd like to be the number 1 seed, but when the bracket came out, you were okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little surprised with a couple of settings, but, you don't know until you know, and now we know what it looks like. And so, yeah, I mean, there's certain groups. I mean, we beat ourselves up, Ohio State, Minnesota, ourselves, other teams in our league equally as well. It's a long, grinding season, and so, if you're going to see someone in our league, let's do it in the championship game. And so the way the brackets have come up, and if Ohio State's successful, and if we're successful, we'd meet in the championship game for the 4th year in a row. That's our plans. That's Ohio State's plans. But other teams have plans too. So we'll see what goes on.
All right. Hey, best of luck. Congratulations.
Thanks so much. Yep.
Yeah, have fun with this. That's head coach Mark Johnson. Again, the Wisconsin women play Saturday in the NCAA quarterfinals. A 1 o'clock face-off at LaBahn Arena against the winner of Thursday's game between Quinnipiac and Franklin Pierce. The Frozen Four the following weekend. Also should mention the Wisconsin men Wednesday against Ohio State. If the Badgers beat the Buckeyes, they'll move on to the Big Ten semifinals Saturday evening at a place to be determined. My thanks to Mark Johnson and Mike Hastings and Stephanie Olson and Jay Williams. I'm Brian Posick. Thank you for watching the Badger Hockey Digest.
This has been a presentation from Learfield,